I have this fender that's off of a side-by-side, and it got cracked pretty bad. So I decided I'm going to use a plastic welder to put this back together. I'm going to be using these stainless steel staples, for lack of a better word. They're heat activated, so there's a gun that goes with it. I'll show you that in a minute. But I'm going to use these to weld from the backside or attach from the backside. So what I want to do is get this as tight as I can so that I don't see that gap. So I want to take some foil tape and put over these areas kind of to hold it together while I'm using the plastic welding tool to get it this should hold it about as tight as it's going to get. You're still going to be able to see it. I think it's not going to be perfect, especially down here. This edge just does not want to really go back to where it was. For some reason, there's some type of something in that fracture. Just won't let it go all the way back to where like here, you can barely see that fracture all the way down into here. But once you get to this point here, the gap becomes fairly large. Yeah, so no matter what I do, I can't get that gap to decrease any. But this should hold it to as tight as it's going to get. Let's put it on here and try to push it in the best I can. It's not going to get much better than that, I don't think. And we can put some tape down here. I don't think it really needs it, but I'll put it there even so. Then we'll flip this over and start the welding process, putting those staples, nails, whatever you want to call those. So there's where we're going to be putting. I don't know how well you can see it. I'm trying to get into the light. I'm going to try to get the light there so you can see me installing where the crack is. Hopefully if I'm on top of it, you'll be able to see that. I decided I'm going to put my first staple here. That's where this crack and the other crack, this long crack, they both intersect right there, and I'm going to put my fastener just like that. So basically you just load the gun, make sure you don't have the trigger down when you load it, and you just put the staple in the two holes, push it all the way in, and then now it's ready to go. So you just put it on top. Now you got to make sure, or I have to make sure, that I don't go all the way through this plastic. It's going to be kind of tricky to know when to stop. So I'm just going to put this on where I think I need to give me the best coverage for taking and connecting this intersection. So I'm going to go right here, pull the trigger down. It'll start getting hot. It'll start to melt. And then just let up on the trigger. You gotta let the plastic cool. Once it cools, you can just pull it off, and the staple will be embedded into the plastic. And I was gonna leave those pieces sticking out. I'll get those cut off later. Make sure your finger's not on the trigger when you put these staples in. And we'll just go along this edge here. We're going to work our way back. I'm going to angle this a little bit that direction. Watch it go down into the plastic. Let up on it. Allow it to cool. And it takes a couple seconds to cool. And then come off of it. Nice thing is if you leave the ends on, if you think you need to go a little bit deeper, once you get it all stapled in or welded, whatever term you want to use, those are stuck together, you could probably just reheat them again. I don't think it's going to matter. this one in. Just keep going around like that, and I'll start working this crack going up that way, and then I'll do that one after this one. I'm hoping that the light gives you an idea where this crack is. It may not be easy for you to see on the camera, but for me it's a little bit of contrast. I can see where the cracks run. It's a pretty ingenious idea, whoever came up with this idea. Wish it was me. And come right there. Just be careful not to get burnt. Make sure your finger is definitely on the trigger. Now this is going to get a little bit tricky because it's not a flat surface anymore. It's starting to change from a flat surface. I think I can go one more. It'll be flat enough for this one, but I'm going to have to do something a little different for the next one because its surface is changing from a semi-flat surface to a curve. So what I think that I'm going to do, lay this here. I think what I'm going to do is just take and staple it like that. Get there and put the last one there, and just bridge it like that, kind of following have the staple kind of follow the contour if that works. This tool. And I'll just start running straight out that until I get the same thing is going to happen there. I'm going to do the same. Angle this so it gets the maximum amount of attachment. I'm going to need some more fasteners. Let me get this last one done. I see this one here, I was a little bit on the edge there, so I'll try to get something to bite a little better right there. And put one more, no, I'm going to put two more. Actually, I was thinking just put this one here. This one here, and then it's going to be one more above it. And just one more at the end of where the end of the crack is. And I'm going to have to put something in there, probably one or two of those straighter staples. Put this one right here. Doesn't take very long for these to cool down. And the metals, I mean, the fender's a little bit warm on the bottom side or around where I've been stapling. Not real hot, but it is kind of warm. And be able to hold it. I don't know, looks like it did a pretty good job. Maybe get a few more of those. It actually looks like it did something decent. So I'm going to put at least 2 more in that same area. And then that will, I think that finishes up all the crack. I have to look and make sure it is. So I'm just laying this kind of half flat down, more not at a 90, but like at maybe a 30 degrees from the thing. So it kind of works its way in there. I'm going to put, let's see, one more on there. Hoping I'm not breaking through anywhere. That would be a bad thing, be breaking through. Yeah, I think that's dry now. These clamps removed. And turn it over. Now this is kind of the moment of truth here, how good a job I did. Start taking this tape off, see if we broke through with any of the staples or how well that looks. This tape is pretty old, from our old air conditioning days. I can still see the gaps pretty good, but it's together. It don't look as nice as I wanted to look, which I always wanted to look perfect. I don't want to see any gaps at all, but that's what you get. But the nice thing is it's together, and yeah, I can go back on the side by side there. Maybe something I can do here. I'm going to look into something maybe to kind of disguise this gap a little bit, and then I do need to turn that over and cut all those pieces out. I don't want them sticking out. That'd be just a nasty thing. Get your hands caught up in it. So I want to get those cut off, get them flush. But for now, we're good. I'll look at something on this. I'm not sure what, but I'll figure something to do with that, maybe. Or it may just look like that for the rest of its days. For cutting the ends of the staples, I'm using a wheel that I got from Bad Dog Tools. You can get to them through baddogtools.com. You'll have to use probably a different mandrel than came with your Dremel tool is what I'm using. I had to buy a special order because the screw for this cutoff wheel is larger than the normal Dremel. So I'll put some links in the bottom for try to find the mandrel that I use. I may not be able to find it, but I can find the Bad Dog Tools, the part number to this disc. And basically what I'm doing, I'm going to cut these off pretty much flush. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to plan to kind of sand or grind just a little bit low flush. So let's start cutting these things off now. For this, definitely need safety glasses because there's going to be stuff flying everywhere. So you do need to be careful when you're using this type of tool. So just going to go along here and cut these. Just take my time cutting these. You can cut them faster if you want. Take the speed just a little bit higher on the Dremel tool. Now I'm just cutting a couple of them and they're still just up a little bit. So what I plan to do is I want to get them just a little below the ends, just a little bit below flush. So I'm going to try to grind across more of this horizontal way. only going to do those I guess there's two of the staples I did total. I would do all this, but I wanted to show this real quick, and I can continue on because you don't need to see me grind all that. But I have a smoothing tool from my Welder solder gun. So I'm going to use that smoothing tool to go over top of this area to kind of smooth out where I got this one still up high, so I want to hit that. So I have to come and grind that a little bit, but these other ones, I think I got them at least flush, so I won't do that one. So just take the gun, pull the trigger, and start just smoothing out those high spots where the staple went. It'll make it look a little better, I think, and to kind of hide the fact that those staples are there. Even though this is the inside of the fender, I think it'll look better if I smooth that out just a little bit. That one I didn't grind flat enough, and you can see, I don't know if you can see here, that didn't grind too low, so I need to maybe grind them a little lower to make it look a little better. But so that's what I tend to do, basically to all the area where I've repaired where the cracks are, and I think it looks a little better than the zigzag, and I could do a little bit more work on that. But I'm gonna go back to cutting all these off with the Dremel tool and the rotary cutter, the cutoff wheel. This thing works great because it's a lifetime warranty, and it can cut almost any kind of material. And I guess it's a carbide material, so you could just go around and you could grind even higher this way. But I'm going to take it and just cut them off near flush. Find where I can go this direction. Yeah, I believe I have. Let me get this one here. Yeah, I believe I have pretty much all of the ends of the staples either flush or near flush to the surface. So we shouldn't have anything sticking up. But if there is, I can always grind that down after I smooth it a little bit. So I'll take the sort of work in different areas. I don't want to get it too hot in one area, so I'm going to start back in here, smoothing. And this is just kind of get it leveled out so it looks a little better. Probably not going to spend that much time in any particular area, so it's what I said a minute ago probably don't matter that much. But that'll give it a better, I think it'll give it a better look, and then that'll actually set the staples deeper into the, not deeper, but capture them better by having a layer of plastic over top of them. Since the crack didn't feel real good, or it left a pretty big gap after I stapled, I decided I'm going to take the smoothing tip on the welder again and just kind of just try to fill that in. It's not going to have a factory finish. It's going to be smooth where the original fender has a texture to it. This is going to be a kind of a smooth finish. So I'm going to try to keep that place where I'm sealing it as thin as possible so it's less obvious. So I'm just kind of going along real slow. Now you could sand this and paint this entire fender, and then it would match up better probably than doing this. I'm going to have to move it, so I'm going to stop the camera now, but you see what I'm doing. It's probably just as pronounced as the crack, but I think I'd rather see that discoloration than the crack. So let me move this and then I'll get back a little bit. Well, I thought I was done, then I thought about it a little bit, and I found myself some ultra matte black paint, and it's good for plastic. So I'm going to shake this up real quick. It's been sitting around for a while, so I just put in a little shaker, shake this up, and I'll paint. The plan is to paint just this bottom section and this area up to this where that seam is. So let me get this mixed up. The paint's dry on here now. It's kind of a little bit glossier than what I thought it was going to turn out. But overall, it looks marginal at best. But at least it's fixed. This is what the inside looks like now. I didn't do anything but smooth it over a little bit with that smoothing tip and cut all these where it's flush. I guess I could, if I wanted to make it look really good, I could sand this inside down a little bit and sand this down and then make some kind of texture, maybe using a light grit on a grit blaster to get that texture again. But I think this is where I'm going to leave it and put it back on the side by side and then be done. I painted that area where I'd done the repairs just to kind of make it look the same as the original. It's a little bit, not quite exactly the same tint of gloss, but it's a decent repair. I give it a C- at best. And then the inside, I just kind of leveled that up a little bit. I could have done a little bit better by coming in and sanding that a little more flush and maybe even put a coat of semi-gloss paint on the inside of it. But it's going to hold and it'll do good. That's mainly all I'm really concerned about the most. I mean, I want it to look like new, but if I went and bought another one, it would be brand new. But this is not bad. That's it for this video. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. If you like my channel, subscribe. Plan to keep on building more things, fixing more things. So stay tuned for more videos, I guess.